Hello everybody. I'm going to draw a sloth today. This was a special request, so I'm happy to do it. I've actually never really spent a lot of time drawing sloths, so I'm happy to have the occasion to do this. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so a sloth, boy, they are interesting animals. They're basically wearing clown makeup. So I'm going to start with my sloth, and I'm going to draw some eyes, but I'm going to draw them kind of set apart from one another. They've got broad faces, I guess you could say, with their eyes set apart, and right in between the middle of their eyes is a little sloth nose. They have these funny mouths that kind of always smile. They come down, go up, kind of look like that. So that's my sloth's face. I'm going to switch over now because the clown makeup is so much a part of who they are. So I'm going to do a couple fine lines. They've got like a line coming off of their eyes and going over to the side of their face, like this. Kind of the same on both sides. And then they've got this like lipstick, sloth lipstick, that follows their mouth. Alright, so there is my sloth's face. There's one more line that's really important. It goes like this. Down, and then back up. It's like a kind of a wavy M shape. And that kind of gives me my sloth's face. I'm going to go back to my skinny pen in a minute, but let's jump over here. Alright, sloths have kind of small heads for their bodies. And the shape that we're going to have to use for our sloth is kind of like a raindrop shape. Their heads are kind of like an upside down raindrop. And we'll come back and talk about raindrops in a minute, but another thing about sloths is they're really shaggy. They're really hairy. So don't be afraid to make your line a little broken and a little shaggy. Alright, another cool thing that I never noticed about sloths until I started drawing them is they have great shoulders. They have just like really cool angular shoulders. And their arms are crazy long. They're longer than their legs. Could you imagine walking around with your arms longer than your legs? What life would be like for you? Probably be pretty awkward. Sloths have some funny feet. They're just like hooks. So there's his first paw. And I'm going to draw his second arm over here. The thing about sloths is their arms are so long and their legs are so short that they aren't like you and me. They can't get around on the ground very well. If you see a sloth on the ground, chances are that sloth is not happy. They belong in the trees. They love the trees. So there's my sloth's front two legs and its two little sloth paws. Alright, now let's talk about that raindrop shape I was mentioning earlier. The head is kind of like a circle, but it's like a big bulgy circle. You could see if it almost would come together like a raindrop if I were to keep accentuating these two lines. I'm going to create that same kind of vibe over here with its body. They have pretty big bodies for their heads. So I'm going to come down here and draw like a nice big raindrop shape. See how it's like bulgy? I didn't quite get it. There you go, something like that. So they have kind of, it's almost like an eggplant. And inside this eggplant, they have these like little legs. Something like this. And they might have another leg kind of coming out over here, grabbing hold of the other side of the tree. So there is my sloth. Now I'm going to kind of jump off of here for a second, go back and get my skinny pen here because I'm going to put in the sloth fingers. They're like 3, I think, sometimes 2, I don't know. I only did a little bit of research before I sat down to do this drawing. Probably should have done more. Really great way to learn about something is to try and draw it. And gosh, you just have to make all these decisions. Alright, now I'm going to kind of come back up here in the face. I'm just going to add a little hair down here. Maybe a little on the side. Their arms and their legs are a great place to put more shaggy. More this shaggy line. It's kind of fun to draw this way. Just kind of go nuts with it, scratch it in. And see, there's some points like right here where I made a mistake and it went over the line. Not a big deal, because it's all part of the sloth's texture, part of the sloth's look. So there is my sloth. Now, this sloth is just kind of hanging in the air, isn't it? It needs a tree or a branch or something. So I'll go back and I'll get my thick marker here. And I'm just going to trace in where I think a tree would go. Or a branch would go or something. And I can, fill that in however I wish. Maybe you get a great big black pen that you like to use. This can take a while, especially if you're using a Sharpie. It can really start to get smelly too. Sharpies are known for their distinct smell, aren't they? Whatever. I'll just keep powering through this. It's okay, like, not to get it be a perfectly smooth texture, because let's face it, trees are not perfectly smooth, are they? I think it'd be important to get the spots under the paws and try and darken those up a little bit. So it looks like the sloth has a shadow under its hands. Maybe take these lines here that you can kind of see of the sloth's arms and stuff. Get rid of those. Not bad. Not a bad sloth. So yeah, sloths are very much of their environment. So if you don't have a tree or something, the sloth is just going to look very much out of place. Like a fish out of water. Put some leaves in here. That'll help kind of give us the idea this sloth is up a tree. There we go. That's a pretty good sloth. Alright, thanks very much. See you later.